All right, let's do this. You know, there's certainly more to the relationship between the United States and Mexico than a 2,000-mile border. Some perspective now on the ties that bind the two countries and the challenges the leaders face. Our own White House correspondent Dan Lothian and White House correspondent for CNN in Espanol, Juan Carlos Lopez, are here with us. And in Los Angeles, Pilar Marrero, senior political reporter for La Opinión newspaper. Good to see you all. Pilar, let me start with you. Describe the relationship, the personal relationship between President Obama and President Calderón.
Well, the personal relationship has been cordial. Obviously, President Obama went to Mexico right away after he took office. First Lady, first solo trip, she went to Mexico. They were very well received. He got the support of Latinos and Mexican voters, Latino voters in the United States. So far, it has been good, but there are issues that they need to talk about that are not so easy for either of us.
But now, this is interesting. But is it warm? Is it a warm relationship? Is it George W. Bush and Tony Blair warm? Because these problems, as you mentioned, are big, and you need a close relationship, someone who has your back if you're going to solve some of these issues, correct?
Well, correct. I mean, they are developing that, but you know, there are problems that even a warm relationship can't really fix. Yes. And the problems of immigration and the problems of the drug war and the drug violence are not something that you can just fix by being friendly.
Yeah. Juan Carlos, let me come to you on this one. What's the common ground here between the two men? Let's start with that, and then I want to get to some of the biggest hurdles.
Well, the acknowledgement that it's a joint responsibility, talking about the war on drugs, the U.S. under the Obama administration, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton twice has acknowledged that the U.S. has a deep responsibility in the drug trade due to the high rate of consumption by Americans. So that's an important acknowledgement to Mexicans. They want to be perceived as partners in this war, and they want to see the U.S. doing its share. And we've seen a change. The recent policy on drug use prevention, on prevention of drug use, is very important, in which it now emphasizes helping people who are looking for rehabilitation and also looking to stem the flow of money and weapons from the U.S. to Mexico, things that Mexico has demanded in the past.
Yeah. Dan, let me come to you on the same question I asked Pilar at the top. Talk about this relationship. How would you describe the relationship between President Obama and President Calderón?
Well, Tony, the administration will say that it's a very warm relationship, but you know, to your point earlier, whether or not you can compare it to what the relationship was with President Bush, I think it's too early to be at that stage. I mean, this meeting today, the fourth time that they've had face-to-face bilateral meeting, they're looking at this as an opportunity to build that relationship. So, you know, they have that warm relationship now, but they also realize that there are some major challenges. And so that's why one administration official described the relationship between the U.S. and Mexico as very complex. And for the reasons that you've been talking about, these issues of immigration and also the drug war, Tony.
Yeah. Pilar, let me come back to you. Look, whether it's a cozy relationship, whether it's a warm relationship, you make a good point that these are really big issues that have to be resolved. Which issue, above all others, do you believe the two men spend the most time on in their time together? You can't cover everything, but what issue goes to the top of the agenda where at the end of the day they would like to be able to report to their parties, we made some progress here?
I think, and I wish I could be there and look through a peeping hole, but I think ostensibly it will be immigration, but it really will be the drug war, because that is the most essential. Well, they basically coincide on immigration. They don't have any major differences there. What is needed is the political will to make it happen. And the drug war, the political will is not enough. And President Calderón is under fire in his own country because there are doubts about the strategy that he's using. There are doubts about the intentions of this drug war and whether he's favoring a cartel or another cartel. There are things that are not discussed in the United States and that are discussed in Mexico, and I'm sure President Obama is aware of them. And there's a lot of money that's at stake. With the Mérida initiative that was approved, the Congress committed $1.6 billion to Mexico to help with this war. But now President of Mexico has to show what he has done with the money and what he plans to do with the rest of the money. And there's lots of doubts about human rights, the military human rights reforms in the police that are still not happening as fast as they should. So those are topics that I think are going to be at the top.
Yeah, and Dan, to you on this, does the president believe he has a man, a partner in Felipe Calderón who can get significant work done? We can talk. We can cut check after check. But does the president believe he has a partner in the Mexican president who can get something done?
I think he does, Tony, and the reason for that is because you've heard the White House time and time again, when it comes to the drug war, they'll talk about some of the gains, some of the progress that has been made on the ground there in Mexico, and they tie that directly to President Calderón, that he's been working very hard to clean up the drug problem in Mexico. But you know, what can counter that as well is this whole issue of corruption within the government there in Mexico. So on the one hand, they believe that he's making some progress there, but there's still some problems within his government as well that the administration has pointed to, Tony.
And there is, Tony, a sense of urgency in Washington because President Calderón has about 2 years left in office, and many here believe that they have to get as much done as possible before Calderón leaves because there's no guarantee that the next government will sustain this policy of facing the cartels head on. If you look at the figures, over 23,000 people have died since 2006 in Mexico in this war on drugs. It's a very unpopular war in Mexico, and visits like this help Calderón. They help support his image in his country and help the request the government will make for the initiative, the Merit Initiative Part 2, more money for the war on drugs.
Yes. All right, Juan Carlos, appreciate it. Dan, as always, good to see you. Pilar, great to have you on the program. Let's get you on more often. Still to come in the newsroom, a new drug control policy.